It's all music from Melanie Fiona all day here on From the Press Box to Press Row. Of course, we're big fans of Melanie Fiona. As a matter of fact, had her on the program back in June during our Black Music Month initiative. Well, guess what? She is back on the line, has a new album out called The MF Life. It is absolutely off the chain as she joins us once again on From the Press Box to Press Row. What's going on, Melanie?
What's going on? How are you?
Pretty good. You know, the last time we had you on, you were dissing the Miami Heat. No, I'm just kidding. But we had talked a little bit about the Heat and them, kind of coming up short there a little bit. And I know you're a big basketball fan and so forth. The Raptors, I guess, I don't know, they're not doing as well as you might like right now. But just kind of your thoughts on the Heat to this point.
Well, here's the thing. I'm here. I'm in New York, so I've been sucked into the world of the Knicks, and it's a vortex, and it is serious. So the Heat. I mean, look, it is what it is. It's difficult, and I think that like I said the last time, sometimes you have three very, very talented players, and sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that that's like a guaranteed ring. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a guaranteed win. I think there's a lot of factors. I know there's a lot of teams that are really strong. It's really strong. The Bulls are really strong this year. I mean, it is what it is. You can't win them all.
I know, and we talked a little bit. I mean, being from Toronto, you're a big, certainly a Maple Leafs fan. Boy, they've fallen on some hard times. As a matter of fact, I didn't realize they hadn't won a Stanley Cup since like 1967. What's going on with your Maple Leafs?
Let me tell you something about the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs are the most popular losing team ever. Ever. And I'm serious. I was having this conversation with my mom the other day because it doesn't even matter. Like people in Toronto, people in Canada are such huge hockey supporters, and people who love hockey are just hockey supporters. The Leafs, it's like they have the most swag for a losing team. I don't know what it is. People are diehard Leafs fans. They still rock the jerseys. They still rock the caps. You know what I mean? Why do you need to win if you've got all that support already?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that is crazy, right? Yeah.
People love the Leafs. We can't figure it out. We don't know what it is. They just love it. It's almost like they just want them to be, because it's Toronto, it's a huge city, and it's a big city representing Canada. And I think that people want them to win, even though they don't. They just still, because they're cool. They're a cool team. Their uniform is cool. They've had a legacy for being cool. I just feel like people just give them a chance because they're cool.
Yeah, and and speaking of cool, and no pun intended here, but I mean, you've done, you sang "Oh Canada" during the NBA All-Star Weekend on last year. You did something, I think, a couple of years ago as it related to the Super Bowl, and this past January, you had a chance once again to sing "Oh Canada" at this year's Winter Classic. How cool was that?
Very, very cool. I had actually never sang it at a hockey game before. So, they called me and I was actually in Toronto, and they called me, and they were like, we want you to come and sing the Canadian anthem in Philly. So, they flew me down, and I went and did that, and it was great. I mean, it was quite an honor because it's such a huge, the Winter Classic is huge. It's viewed more than the Stanley Cup is. So it was really cool to just be out there, and then also, Patti LaBelle sang the American anthem, and being outside, and the fans, the energy is just so alive. And, to be chosen to honor Canada of all the artists in that game, it was really cool.
That is the voice of Melanie Fiona, Universal Republic recording artist. She joins us here on From the Press Box to Press Row. We're going to talk about her new album, The MF Life, which she actually talked about with us in June. It's absolutely off the chain. But first of all, Melanie, one of your the influences in your career in terms of music, Whitney Houston. We lost her now a couple of months ago. Just kind of want to get your thoughts on the loss of Whitney Houston.
I'm completely inspired by Whitney Houston's voice, by her life, by her story. It is just, I think there's much to be said and learned and honored about Whitney Houston, just because, you know, for me, from being a little girl, she was the voice that this single-handed voice that made me want to become a singer, just because the sound of her voice, the tone of her voice was just, it did something to me. It inspired me, it moved me, it made me feel emotional. And, you know, that's why I think from the age of 3, I was singing Whitney Houston songs. You know, when she died, I really cried. I really, really cried and really became very sad. Like I had really lost someone I had known my whole life. And, you know, kind of, you know, essentially I did know Whitney my whole life. Not necessarily in the physical or literal way, but, you know, she's been had a huge presence in my life and my career. And I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated. And, you know, I thanked her the next day, because it was on the eve of the Grammys, and I thanked her the next day when I went up there to accept the awards, just because I wouldn't have been standing out there if it wasn't for her. And I think that a lot of people, it took, sadly, her death to really realize and to really honor what Whitney Houston contributed to the world and what she contributed to you know, people's homes. I mean, people didn't realize how big of a Whitney Houston fan they were until she passed. So, you know, I just think that we just need to stop waiting till our greats are gone to be honoring them. And yes, she had her trials and tribulations, but who doesn't? And like I said, I think that that's something that, you know, especially me being an artist and just in general, people can learn from. Like, no one's perfect. We all have our issues, and, you know, you just never know.
Yeah, very, very well said. Speaking of the Grammys, you know, finally you won a couple this year. Congratulations on that. And we expect big things from this MF Life album, certainly as it relates to the Grammys. Just talk about the 2 Grammy Awards that you won for the song "Fool for You" with CeeLo. Yes,
very exciting stuff, like extremely exciting. One is for Best Traditional R&B Performance, which is as a singer, and then one is for Best R&B Song, which is a songwriter. So, yeah, we picked the 2 in one day, and, you know, what a feeling. I mean, just what a feeling for me, especially, to just know that I just wanted to collaborate with CeeLo based off of the love and admiration I had for him and his music as an artist, and to know that we made this song, and just basically for fun, you know, it was a remix, and it became the #1 record, and then, you know, won these Grammys. It's just, you know, I hadn't even put out my second album. So to win 2 Grammys so early into my career, just, it was overwhelming. It was like one of the greatest days of my life. And really, it was just it's a catalyst to really just push forward and to continue to do what I'm doing, and hopefully continue to be recognized, just because I feel like, you know, I'm hopefully, I think I'm doing something right. You know, the Academy has, you know, recognized me for 3 years now since I've come out, and then this year we won. So I'm just thankful, and I'm very humbled by the experience, and just, you know, excited for the future, just because you know, it's music history, and that's the honor in itself. If I do nothing else with my career, I will always be able to say I won 2 Grammys. And, you know, some people never even get their songs played on the radio. Some people never even get recognized. And I'm talking some of the biggest, best artists in this field. So, you know, it is such an honor, and I just, you know, have such high regard for it.
Putting the R&B back in R&B is Melanie Fiona. She joins us here on the program. So the MF Life, and, you know, first of all, Melanie, I was reading somewhere where the delay of the album allowed you to have a chance to work with J. Cole, Nas, Drake, T-Pain, who are on this album. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. They, you know, I've been wanting to get some features on this album anyways. But timing is also everything. And a lot of the songs that you hear on the album, they, you know, some of the best songs came towards the end of this project. And there was a lot of delay and a lot of, you know, setbacks, and internally in the industry, and then also where the industry was at, you know, from a public standpoint. And it's just, I had to ride that wave and let the dust settle. And it was frustrating, and it was definitely, you know, like people asking, well, when's the next album?